This nostalgia is Jack and Ray's Christmas lights. Paul, anything to add?
Since our family never got along, we would always have these auxiliary Christmases outwards. The grandparents on my mom's side, grandparents on my dad's side, uncle and aunt on my mom's side, uncle and aunt on my dad's side, and then Uncle Jack and Aunt Ray, which were friends of the family, but they were still considered uncle and aunt.
Right.
But what we'd do, they would usually be the last one, and it was always just kind of, it was fun. It wasn't really present contingent as far as our fun level was. But what they would do is...
They were pretty good gift givers, though.
They were good, they were thoughtful.
There was a lot of conspiring, I think, with Mom and Dad, like, what didn't they get on their list?
Yeah, it was very thoughtful.
Sort of thing, but they were good at it. They're hip.
Yeah, they're very thoughtful gift givers. Yeah. But what would happen is, our parents, for some reason, they thought colored lights were classless and white trash. So they would do white Christmas lights every year. No matter what, white Christmas lights, same arrangement every year. Nothing would change. And anyone that had colored Christmas lights, they'd always scoff at instead of like, wow, it's really nice, you know, it's Christmas. They go, you know, colored lights, white trash. And this would be on a house even more expensive than ours, you know. They'd be like, white trash Christmas lights. Well, Uncle Jack and Aunt Ray had the old, I think they're called C7 lights. They're like the old school bulb, about that big.
Yeah, the larger bulb. Very, very Pittsburgh thing. I like the
very. I dig them. It makes me feel like, you know, days of old.
Yeah.
But they just put it up around their porch, and our parents used to just destroy them over it. It was so classless. And then they go in, and then their Christmas tree would be colored lights, which was acceptable to them, but then they had tacky decorations. Like, our decorations had to be classy, and they had like stuff that Ben made for them, like their son made for them on there, and they'd scoff at the tree, scoff at the trade, and it was always such like a source of, I mean, they had us brainwashed at one point, but...
Yeah. And their tree, unlike ours, instead of just in a little metal Christmas tree stand, which ours was in, they would have it on like almost a stage, probably a 3 foot wide, 6 inch high, maybe
might have been a milk crate.
Deep. No, it was way wider than a milk crate. But
Turner's iced tea crate.
Maybe a series of them. But Uncle Jack was the first guy we saw to do a train under a Christmas tree, because we didn't have that growing up as a tradition thing. And he was always really proud of his train and the fact that it would move. Yeah.
We loved it.
And he was happy to play with it when we were around.
He let us touch it.
Yeah.
Which is a huge deal, because we weren't allowed to touch it.
And this is the thing, this is people who aren't relatives, who didn't have to tolerate Mom and Dad, who knew a lot of their foibles, and I think in a certain sense identified with us, so they were really happy, and you know, I always remember just sort of being like, they were happy with the tree, they were just celebrating, you know, it's just a celebration, it's sort of a good thing, and not a competition. But years later, after ripping on them, ragging on them, rifling on them, Dad finally, I remember he used to have the trains that were basically like Micro Machines trains on a little track, like old Lionel, like miniatures, but he finally upgraded to the moving train, and then every year they would get one new house for their Christmas village, and it was just like
it's cool now.
Yeah, they're very sheep. They're not sheepish by any means, but they're very sheep-like. They are sheeple, as is becoming like a buzzword now.
Is it?
And if you haven't heard it yet, you've heard it here first on Construction Chucks. To all our Chucks chasers and our sheeple.
Not yours.
And our weebles.